Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over how to get books in Adopt Me fast and easy. My last video on here was actually how to get rich in Adopt Me, and I did use this as a step, obviously to save books, but I could have gone into so much detail, which is why I'm making a whole separate video for it. I've tried to basically narrow it down to the best and most effective ways. Like, I'm literally looking at my laptop right now and reading the tips off one by one. So with all that said and done, I hope you guys find this video helpful and watch till the end so you don't miss a single tip. The first tip is a pretty common one in these type of videos, but I'm going to try and explain it in as much detail as possible. When grinding for books, it's crucial that you have a grinding home or even a space so you can just easily access things for your pet's needs. Sometimes it can become tiring wandering around the map to get to certain places when you really can just put the majority of things necessary in your home. You can either trade for grinding homes or build one yourself. I love trying to make mine as aesthetic as possible, but I'm just not very good at it. But then again, it is just as efficient to make a basic and cheap one, so that way you're also saving money in the process. So basically it's up to you how you want it to look. You just need to make sure that you can compact everything in there that you need. Personally, I would advise to have 2 or 3 of everything, and I'll explain why in my second tip. But some great purchases you should consider are the piano for the fun need, the bouncy castle for the walk need, and the water cooler for yourself when you play as a baby. And obviously along with that you'll need the basics like beds, showers, food and drinks. My second tip is to use an alt account to help you earn more money, and you can do this by grinding with your pet out, them as a baby and then their pet out. This way you're literally earning 3 times the amount of money you typically would, and you can use as many alt accounts as you wish because the more you use the more money you'll get. And I think this is a great way to also speed up your pets into neons. When you create an alt account, they will also join the game straight away with money, and whilst grinding they will continue to earn more, so it's important to remember to transfer the money to your main account. And this can be done through tills, stalls and mannequins. However, sometimes I can't be bothered getting separate devices out, and I know that some people won't actually have access to that. So some alternatives could be to join other people's family in the server and grind with them, or you can play as a baby with your pet out, and this way you're still profiting more than what you would do when you're by yourself. On the topic of transferring money through stalls and mannequins, my next tip is to actually sell things. But I honestly don't know if it's actually worth buying any of the stalls with your Robux, because I did that and I don't feel like the money I have made through them has been worth it. However, you can still trade them with pets, which I think is a better deal anyway, and if you do choose to trade for a stall, I would advise setting it to 1 book. This is because I never personally buy anything that's more than that, so I'm basically putting myself in the server shoes and making sure that it's a reasonable price. But I actually think a more effective way to earn money through selling is to make preppy outfits on the mannequins. I do think they're like $7.50, but it's definitely worth it. You don't even necessarily have to be good at it. You could just follow a YouTube tutorial on a preppy avatar and then literally throw a party to sell them, and I find that these parties do so well because preppies swarm the place and love buying new outfits to wear. This next tip won't necessarily help with earning more money, but instead will help do it faster. When joining the game, I would recommend immediately making sure that you're stocked up on your food and drink. I know people do like finding the freebies around the map to stock up in their inventory, but I personally prefer buying it from the food shop because it actually stays in your inventory when you leave. And I know I said earlier that it won't help with earning more money, but it technically could, because it's important to know that the quicker you do a task, the quicker another one might pop up. So it's always worth trying to complete these tasks as soon as you can. This next tip is definitely more important than the last, and I feel like these final tips are more personal tips for me. Like, I love doing these just to earn a bit of extra money. But for this tip, you need to figure out what the quickest routes are to different places. Obviously, everybody knows about the teleport buttons, and I feel like the most common one to teleport to is the nursery or the gifts. But I will put up some alternatives for that on the screen, because if you want to go camping or you want to go to the pizza shop or the salon, there's definitely quicker ways to get there. I would also recommend trying to get hold of, I don't know what they're called. This is embarrassing. Roller skates, because in my opinion they are the easiest to control and they're still quite quick. And another tip is that you can actually figure out what task you're gonna get next, especially the orange tasks, because Adopt Me is always on a cycle. Once again, I'll put it up on the screen so it kind of explains it quicker, but I know that I think it's every 3 nights you have the camping task, and then the day after your pet will always get sick. So just by knowing this, you can save yourself tons of time because you can get to the places before the tasks pop up. I feel like a lot of people actually forget that there's loads of ways in the game that you can earn money just with different methods, because I certainly do. The first one is by using a lure, and these used to be 750, but I don't know if they're free now. I know I got refunded for it, so I'm assuming it's free. But basically, I think it has a timer for 4 hours, and you can go and collect a reward from it at the end of it. And it is commonly money, although you can also get agent potions, which I love receiving because it's like the best case scenario. And another in-game method that you can use to your advantage is the task board, which seems so obvious, but everybody tends to forget that it's even there, and I do as well. So especially when I'm bored and I do remember that I can use it, I try and go through it and clear it out because it's just such an easy way to grab cash. And I'm pretty sure after a period of time you will get a refresh option, so if you don't like any of the tasks that you have, you can swap it for another. And finally, I love it when my pet gets the little question mark task, because that means that you can choose what you want to do. And the tasks that are going to get you the most money are the orange ones, so if you do get an option to pick one of them, I definitely would recommend doing so. And I actually forgot to nearly add this in, but it is also important that you're checking up on your daily rewards, because not only can you earn money from that, but you can earn gifts, and you can also get like star rewards. I actually find Adopt Me doesn't do these often anymore, but I love it when they do because they help so much. But tip number 7 is to take advantage of 2 times weekends, because not only do you get double the aging on your pet, but you do get double the money. And this also links to tip 2, where you use your alt accounts or play as a baby or join other people's families, because can you imagine how much money you're going to earn then? I think a great way to make sure that you don't miss these updates is to click the little bell next to the Adopt Me game so you get notified when they do update, but I'm pretty sure it's every Friday. But as I was saying, you just want to make sure you are hardcore grinding when they do occur, because it will definitely be worth it. I've left this final tip till the end because I actually think this is the most important one. Because if you're not setting goals, or you don't know what you're saving up for, what are you doing? There's going to be no drive or motivation if you have no goal for the end, and I find that I just get burnt out if I'm just constantly saving money for nothing. So my personal favourite reasons to save money are for future updates, because you never know what currency it's going to be, so it's worth just keeping money there. Or I would be saving them to buy loads of eggs at once, because honestly I don't see the point in buying just one egg every now and again. It's not worth it, and you're probably not going to have the best luck. And another thing you should do is set a goal in terms of like how much you want to save up until you spend it. So in the top right hand corner, as you can see, I'm on like 20 something K. I can't actually see it myself, and this was filmed before the Gibbon update came out, and now that it has, I've actually spent quite a bit of it and I'm down to 8,000. But I've told myself I'm not going to spend any more until I'm at least at 15k again, and that way I'm being disciplined. So by knowing exactly what you want to do and what goals you are setting, you are actually giving yourself a reason to do it, and that way it's more fun. And that, my friends, is the final tip of the video, which is going to conclude it. As I said before, I tried my best to narrow it down to my favorites and the ones I think are most effective, so I hope you all found at least one tip that is going to help you. I also wanted to end the video by thanking you all for the support I got on my last video. I think it's around 800 views right now, which is really cool, and we're already halfway there to 100 subscribers, so if you guys still want to claim your OG ticket, you definitely can. And also make sure to let me know if you watched till this point in the video. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all soon.